This is Scott Vanderplu, and you're listening to the Artist Edition Index podcast, episode 59.
I went down to the St. James Infirmary, found my baby there, stretched out on a long white table, so sweet, so cold, so fast.
Thank you for joining me once more on this monthly debacle, where we take the written word from aeindex.org and I bring it to some semblance of life. I am really suffering through allergies right now, and my greatest pet peeve on my podcast is me sniffling my nose. So I will try my best not to do that today. All right, let's get right into it. I think there's no real central topic this month, but I think the big news is the launch of a crowdfunding artist edition from Zoop. And that is John Paulion's The Winter Men Artist Edition. Take note that it's using the title Artist Edition. This is being put together by Scott Dunbier, designed by Randall Dahlk, so the team we know and love from IDW. And I posted it under October crowdfunding, and I'd like to thank all the people who emailed me. Lots of regular listeners and readers emailed me to let me know about the project, and I thanked them. And I was on it, though. This had good advanced presence on the internet, with the artists promoting it before the campaign even started, so that was great. Let me give you the blurb, and we'll go from there. John Paulion's The Winter Men Artist Edition. By John Paulion, art, cover, and story, and Brett Lewis, story. The Winter Men is the project John Paulion was most proud of. None of its gorgeous artwork has ever been sold or left his Miami studio, except to be scanned for this book. Now, as a tribute to the renowned artist, JP's closest friends have united to publish an artist edition of this modern comics masterpiece, with all proceeds proudly going to JP's wife and daughter. Please pledge your support and join JP's studio mates and project organizers Tommy Lee Edwards and Bernard Chang, book editor and project initiator Scott Dunbier, and artists Bill Sienkiewicz, Lee Weeks, Duncan Fegredo, Sean Phillips, Kim Jung-ji, Dennis Cowan, Walter Simonson, and Joe Quesada, who are all contributing brand new pinups in celebration of an astonishing and inspiring body of work. John Paulion's The Winter Men Artist Edition features 184 pages of full-size 12x17 scans of all the original comic art pages, along with never-before-seen concepts, layouts, sketches, unused art, and pinups. 12x17, 184 pages, 150 USD. Edited by Scott Dunbier, production by Scott Dunbier, designed by Randall Dahlk, no variant covers, ordered online, one place only, that's Zoop. And I wanted to mention a couple things about this. In the crowdfunding, please go check it out, but in the crowdfunding page, they give a note, grateful acknowledgement to IDW Publishing for allowing us to use the term Artist Edition for this book. Which is nice, but I think Artist Edition is a format now. I don't think it's just a title anymore. As well, first off, this is great. It's exciting artwork. I love John Paulion, and The Winter Men was a great book. What's really interesting is their shipping from Zoop seems very, very reasonable. So for me to Canada, it was $24, and some people who contacted me from Europe mentioned it was $25. So that's significantly cheaper than any other campaign I've ever seen shipping a book this size and weight internationally. So that's pretty exciting. So let's, if you're interested in this, please go back. There's still a good amount of days. Let me click on the link and see where we are. There's 19 days to go as of today. I'm recording this on the 29th. I'm trying to get a little ahead of my recording because I'm away on the weekend. So, yeah. Anyways, the book was funded. It had a funding threshold of $35,000. It's at $91,000 now. There's 504 supporters. I don't know how many of those people. I don't know how they break that down. Is there 500? Oh, it says 500 books have been claimed. So that's pretty great. Like I said, there is no variant or anything. So we got 500 of the regular edition claimed. Let's see if it mentions. All right, 4 claimed for the retailer bundle, which is 504. 1 claimed of the 5-copy retail bundle. So, so 3 copies. 4 is 12. Minus 5 is 17. So it's 517 books. And 70 claimed to donate $1. So there was a bunch of prints and things. What's interesting is the artwork shown is some nice examples of 6-issue miniseries. Some of the issues were lettered on the boards and some were not. So I don't have details of that. We also don't know if, I don't think they are, but I don't think they're going to approach this with digital word balloons like we've seen in other books. I'm trying to think most recently, maybe Frank Cho's Savage Wolverine book. All right. That's super exciting. I don't know when we'll see this based on that. Still to go. I think maybe March 2022. Which brings us to shipping changes, the saddest part of the podcast. John Buscema's Marvel Heroes Artist Edition moved twice, once to the beginning of January and now January 26th, 2022. The other books are still the dates they are, so the other news is P. Craig Russell's new book, which Wayne Allen Harold they got the advance copies flown in from Asia. And he's saying they probably won't be here till the end of December, so they probably won't ship till January, which means this year we had 3 AE format books only. It's the smallest year ever. If you thought last year was bad with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books, this year we have 3. Jim Lee's X-Men Artist Edition from IDW, February 24th. Nexus, The Coming of Grimmondo Deluxe Edition. September 14th is when the date it was that they started shipping. And then EC Covers Artist Edition, September 29th. We will not see any more books this year. So that is going to be the smallest year ever in recent memory. I mean, yes, the first year only had 1 book. The second year had 2 books. But, I'm sorry, the second year had 1 book as well. So 2010 we had Dave Stevens' The Rocketeer Artist Edition. 2011 we had Walter Simonson's The Mighty Thor Artist Edition. But then by 2012 we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 2012. And then it just kept going from there. So, what can you do with the shipping issues and the container issues and the paper shortage issues? We're in a world of hurt for books. So I would definitely recommend that everybody who loves artist editions hit up eBay. Hit up Things from Another World. Go through my AE Format Books Index page and look through for books you'd like and order them. Get books that you missed out on, right? Fill in those back slots, the wish lists, and pick up what you can, because it's this is a lean year, and we'll have to see what happens with next year paper. All right, let's move right from there to AE Format out of print sales for September 2021. I went back and removed all the links from the price record section at the bottom, because they were to eBay, and eBay, I don't know how long they go, but they delete the sales, I think, after 30 days or 60 days. So those links were all dead links for me, and it was just a pain, so I got rid of them. All right, let's get into it. Alien, the Illustrated Story, the original art edition, 2 copies sold for an average of $125.88. 1 copy of Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller Gallery Edition sold for $225. 1 copy of Best of EC Comics Volume 1 sold for $185. 2 copies of Volume 2 sold for an average of $178.28. 2 copies of Bill Sienkiewicz's Mutants and Moon Knights and Assassins sold for $229.50 average. 1 copy of Dave Stevens' Rocketeer Artist Edition second print sold for $218.90. 2 copies of David Mazzucchelli's Daredevil Born Again Artist Edition sold for an average of $310.72. See, when I sold my copy sealed, I thought the price was kind of high. I'm going by eBay, a little bit lower than eBay on my store, but still, wow, it looks like it's still going up. 1 copy of Frank Cho's Savage Wolverine sold for $169.95. 3 copies of Gene Colan's Tomb of Dracula Artist Edition sold for an average of $231.63. 1 copy of Gil Kane's Amazing Spider-Man sold for $200, which is a big jump from, there were so many of those copies that were out there for $75. I guess that dealer just ran out. 1 copy of Jack Davis's EC Stories sold for $164.12. 1 copy of Jack Kirby Commandy, The Last Boy on Earth, sold for $150.49. 3 copies of Jim Lee DC Legends sold for an average of $151.66. 1 copy of Joe Kubert's Tarzan of the Apes sold for $130. One copy of John Buscema's Silver Surfer sold for $160.96. One copy of John Byrne's X-Men Artifact Edition sold for $355. That book stand up there. That and the Sienkiewicz book seem to be, of recent memory, the highest prices for regular editions. One copy of Michael Golden's Micronauts Artist Edition sold for $230. Two copies of Mike Mignola's Hellboy and Hell and Other Stories, first print, sold for an average of $219.96. One copy of Mike Mignola's Amazing Screw-On Head and other Curious Objects sold for $300. Yowzers. Can't believe that book came out in 2016. It feels newer than that. One copy of Ross Andrews' The Amazing Spider-Man sold for $135. One copy of Spawn Vault Edition 2 sold for $399.99. Wow. One copy of Star Wars Artifact Edition sold for $19.50. That is, I think that's the lowest price ever. Somebody probably did a 99-cent or a $9.95, and they got a bunch of bids, but it just never went above that. So that's got to hurt whoever sold that. I think it was a comic store. One copy of Star Wars Dark Times Gallery Edition sold for $74.99. One copy of Steranko Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Artist Edition second print sold for $125. One copy of Usagi Yojimbo Samurai and Other Stories sold for $199.99. One copy of Walter Simonson's Star Wars Artist Edition sold for $111.77. And one copy of Walter Simonson's Manhunter and Other Stories sold for $120. One copy of Will Eisner's The Spirit Artist Edition sold for $160.96. So, some high prices there. A lot of zeros this month. I'm seeing the purchases really down on eBay for the AE format. All right, let's talk some record prices. I'm only going to go by purchase date of let's say September or October. So we saw Gil Kane's Amazing Spider-Man edition signed. That's signed by three people, I think. Stan Lee, Gil Kane, somebody else, maybe Roy Thomas. I forget. It went for $672. That's very impressive. Michael Golden's Micronauts Artist Edition, regular edition, one copy sold for $310. Mike Mignola's Hellboy and Hell and Other Stories Artist Edition, remarked, so it's had a it's got a signature page and it's got a section where Mignola drew Hellboy. That went for $9.99. That is big money. And a signed Bill Sienkiewicz's Mutants and Midnights and Assassins went for $547.27, which may be high, but it's actually a little on the lower side for that signed edition. So interesting things. This list was all, it's dominated by signed editions. I think that's the big money on this stuff. But wow, interesting to see prices like that. All right. I did the poll this month, as always, from our good friend of the podcast and a Patreon patron, David Jacoy. This month was, dare you read these classic 1950s pre-code titles reprinted in the original art for the very first time? In the 1950s, the best of the best were drawing horror comics. Al Avison, Bob Powell, Howard Alexander, Howard Nostrand, Jack Kirby, Jack Sparling, Joe Certa, Joe Simon, Kurt Schaffenberger, Lee Elias, Manny Stallman, Rudy Pillay, Sal Trapani, Steve Ditko, and Vic Donahue. Which of these titles deserves a spooky artist edition? Options were Black Cat Mystery, Chamber of Chills, Forbidden Worlds, Tomb of Terror, Witch's Tales. These were all Harveys, I think, right? Big winner here was Black Cat Mystery. I don't know if that's because it had Kirby work. I don't know. Elias worked across all of these. I love Lee Elias from this period. He's got that really great looking. He's got a Kniff look going. That's I think it's really standout. Very nice. Big winner, Black Hat Mystery, 20 votes. 10 votes for Tomb of Terror, 7 votes for Forbidden Worlds, 6 votes for Chamber of Chills, 4 votes for Witch's Tales. We don't do a lot of polls like this where it's a title with mixed art, just because I think people like to gravitate towards an artist. But great option and a great opportunity for me to put some of this artwork up, courtesy of Heritage. And interesting poll. As always, this will stay live, so go back, keep voting. There's still a couple days to vote on this. All right. We talked shipping changes. Sadly. Nothing, no standouts for me this month. All right, 2 reviews. Our final AE format book release of the year, EC Covers Artist Edition. Let's get into the blurb. Here is your chance to collect some of the most iconic comic book covers by some of the greatest artists to ever pick up a pencil. EC Comics, under the guidance of publisher Bill Gaines, was, according to the editor of this collection, the greatest line of comics ever done. This once-in-a-lifetime artist edition collects more than 140 EC covers by their best and brightest talents. The luminaries included in this gigantic 15 by 22 inches tome include Wally Wood, Harvey Kurtzman, Graham Ingalls, Al Williamson, Johnny Craig, Frank Frazetta, Jack Davis, Al Feldstein, interesting, and more. To make a baseball analogy, this is a murderer's row every bit as noteworthy as the 27 Yankees. I'm not interested in baseball analogies. Also includes an introduction by noted DC scholar Tommy Burns. All right, this was released September 29th. It was $150 USD, 160 pages, 15 by 22, massive, wonderful book. This is like the other cover books from IDW. It's just cover after cover, boom, 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 right? The thing that sells the comics, the cover. It's broken down alphabetically by artist, which is nice. So we start with Johnny Craig. We go to Reed Crandall, Jack Davis, Bill Elder, George Evans, Al Feldstein, Frank Frazetta, Graham Ingalls, Bernie Wrightson, Bernie Kriegstein, Harvey Kurtzman, Shelley Mulboff, John Severin and Bill Elder, Al Williamson, Basil Wolverton, I guess it is, really, Wally Wood. So you get, boom, cover after cover. They are gorgeous. There's so many great covers. I broke it down in the review of what you got. So let me just give you that. Of the covers that appear here, 72 have appeared in other EC Artist Editions. Interestingly, Mad Artist Edition features 16 covers, but only 10 of those appear here, as the other 6 are not traditional comic book covers. Yeah, they're like paste ups and things. They're not really a comic book cover, I wouldn't say. All right, so Best of EC Artist Edition, Volume 1 had 14 covers. Best of EC Artist Edition, Volume 2 had 9 covers. Graham Ingalls' EC Stories had 13 covers. Jack Davis's EC Stories had 12 covers. Mad had 16 covers, which I said, but 10 are here. Reed Crandall's EC Stories only had 2 covers. Wally Wood's EC Stories had 12 covers. So, if you look at that, it's a lot. I broke it down as well. 143 published covers are in this book, 2 unpublished covers, 5 cover roughs, and 1 commission. The book ends with a commission. It's a sort of a what if, a series ended on 40. Vault of Horror ran issue 40, and somebody commissioned Johnny Craig to do a cover for 41. So that's actually the last page in the book, not in the table of contents, so it's a little bonus treat. And great stuff. There's some interesting unpublished stuff. So you got a Tales from the Crypt 38. You have the published version, and then you have the uncensored version, which it is. Wow, I can see a big difference there. Very gruesome. There's a Panic 3 unpublished cover and the published. There's the Mad stuff, which is a Mad rough, and then the cover and a rough and a cover, and then there's a rough, and then the actual printed comic cover, which I don't think was needed in the book. It sort of takes away, in my opinion. I really love there's so many great things. And it was really great to see things like the Saddle Justice covers. Issue 5, pretty iconic. If you're into EC, that's pretty great. Like I said, a lot of stuff I hadn't seen before. And the roughs were interesting. Tried to include them in, I got a good amount of images in the review, like always. So please, go and check it out. Hit up the website. I'll also do a flip through. I'm trying to do flip throughs on all my new book reviews, if I can. Sometimes when I won't do a flip through of a book that's much larger, so like some of the European ones, like 300 pages, I just don't want to do a flip through. My other problem is I'm not that great with video yet. So like the next review I did during the Joker Adventures in Comic Art, it's very glossy paper, and I tried to do a flip through, and I could not get the lighting where I did not have massive glare. I've got glare in my review photos too, but yeah, the flip through was just all glare. So I tried spotlighting. I tried with the main lights off and just the spotlighting. That also gave me glare. I've got to get a photo box, like maybe professional, some lighting. A friend of mine has photography equipment. I was over at his place looking at that stuff, so I may pick something like that up. See if I can get some better photos. Not sure. All right. And again, that review I just mentioned, Jerry and the Joker, Adventures in Comic Art, that was mentioned on the Tapatalk forums as a source of lots of original art. And it is. And interestingly, I had a digital copy, which I didn't even remember getting. Dark Horse has so many great deals. I have a bunch of stuff on the iPad waiting to be read, and this is one of the books I just never got to. Let me give you the blurb. In this art-infused memoir by the late Jerry Robinson, learn how a 17-year-old became the artist on Detective Comics and Batman and created one of the most famous villains of all time, the Joker. This volume includes never-before-published full-page artwork from Detective Comics and Batman, covers featuring Batman, Robin, and the Joker, and much more. Never-before-published artwork featuring Batman, Robin, the Joker, and more. This came out in August 2017 from Dark Horse. It's 9x12, 192 pages hardcover, glossy, $34.99 USD. It's an interesting book, broke about in a chapter. So you get a bit of an essay, a memoir, a remembrance from Jerry Robinson about different things. He talks about how, he was in school and then just started drawing, and then he talks about creating the Joker. He talks about working for different places. And in amongst there, we got a lot of different artwork. But I'm here, and I think readers of the site and listeners of this podcast would be here for the comic artwork. And there is a goodly amount of Golden Age artwork. Really nice stuff. Stuff you've not seen elsewhere, at least not in your hand like this. Yes, it may have been on auctions, but to see it in a book like this, it's really, really nice. Detective Comics 68 cover. So great looking. Detective Comics 69 with the Joker. Batman, a story from Batman. Missing a few pages. Some other stories from Justice. And just some really great stuff. Mystery Tales. It's a really interesting book. Nothing's really complete. There is a few, there's a page missing here and there. This stuff is really old. It's interesting to see Jerry Robinson's artwork from this period. I don't think you're going to get an opportunity like this elsewhere. It'd be awesome if we do. I mean, the Simon & Kirby Studio book had artwork from this period, but obviously not DC. I don't actually remember if there was any DC in that. I don't think so. Could have been. But not like Batman, stuff like this. Really wonderful. So, quite the book. That's about it. I didn't even do my sales blurb, which I should do now. Please support the website if you feel inclined. You can be a Patreon patron, $1 or more a month, just to say hi. I like this, what you're doing. Using any of the links I have for purchasing on the site is well worth it to me. The Things from Another World is a great commission I get. Amazon's not so great. I have some European links for the European books that don't get any commission, but I'm still happy to link to them because they're great opportunities and great sellers, such as Collector BD. I'm trying some new ones. The 9E store. I'm going to be trying that next month. There's a new book coming out. There's Gil Jordan by Tillieu coming out of original artwork. That looks amazing. And it's interesting. It's from Dupuis. And they're labeling this book an artiste edition. So just speaking of, the name being a format and not just, not a title or a category, it's amazing. So even though this format and this genre of publishing original artwork, was around for possibly a decade before IDW started it in the United States, it's interesting to see Dupuis take on the name for their own books. So great stuff. Looking forward to that. I got a bunch of European stuff I still have to review. That's in my line for my, doing 2 reviews a month. I'll continue to do that. I still have a lot of books. I'm going to start also doing the DC Unwrapped books, which are pencils with the digital lettering over top, and then it's sort of a comic format. I think all of them. I have 8 or 9. So I'll start reviewing those. Those are interesting as well. So I'm thinking letters this month. You know what? Most of my letters were, hey, are you aware of this John Paulion book? And it's interesting. I met him a couple times at conventions. Got some artwork from him, which was great. And I thought he was French. Jean-Paul Leon. But nope, completely American, and very American pronunciation of the name, John Paulion. So. Just flipping through my... I did actually get up a lot of emails, surprisingly. Somebody asked me about shelves. I gave him a picture of my closet again because I just keep mine in there. If you want to know how my books look, go to the aeindex.org/about, and you'll see a picture of my closet. That's my Artist Edition Index or AE format book closet, where so far they still all fit in there. I'm actually out of space again. It was 3 shelves. I made it 4. I got stuff crowded in there, and some of the French books aren't fitting, so I'm in some bit of trouble there. All right, I think that's it for me this month. I still didn't... Oh, my goodness. I am so lost. So I mentioned the Patreon. I mentioned the links. The last thing is I have a store on the site, aindex.org/store. I post things that I've run across, that I have extras of, that I want to sell. I dropped the price on a couple things. I recently added a Mad Artist Edition. I had it for $200. There was no takers. I put it down to $175. Let's see if anybody's interested. Also, I have the Bernie Wrightson Muck Monster portfolio. I had it for $125. I put that down to $100. So, some good pricing. I ship it pretty well. I mean, I make my own boxes. They're well packaged. It's just about... I can ship them across the border to the U.S. with USPS because there's a service here that drives from Canada to Niagara Falls, New York. So... I could ship them fairly cheap that way. But, yeah, check out the store. Check out the site. Please, if you listen to this podcast, please, there's so much info on the site with the pictures and the videos and just everything that's going on. And I would recommend to everyone, if you're not already, please subscribe to the newsletter. There's no ads or anything in it. It comes out on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And it lists everything that came out the week before. If there was any articles the week before, they're all there. So you don't even have to, don't be checking the site. You don't worry about that. Just go right, subscribe to the newsletter, and you get it in your inbox. So that's definitely the way to go. As well, since I seem to be running, last month I was over. This month I'm a bit short. I also have a sister site, eBabble, which is much older than this A-Index site. And I've got a lot. It's just my various writings. I started writing last century about technology. Don't really do that much back when I was in university. And now I mostly write about newspaper comic strips. So if you go to the bottom of the A-Index site, you'll see more from Scott on eBabble. And those are links to recent comic articles I've written. And it's like I said, it's all newspaper strips. So if you'd like to see what else I'm interested in, or if you'd like to have a peek at newspaper strips, check out those reviews as well. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. I'll be back again, as I am at the end of every month. I don't know if this is going to go live on the 29th, or I probably will schedule it to the 31st so it meets with the rest of the posts. So thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the site, and we'll talk again next month.
Let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search this wide world over. She'll never find a sweet man like me.